So today's moving day, I'll have a bit more space. I think it'll be a noisy space. I don't think with my hypersensitivity I'll be happy with the space, but I also see my ungrateful bitchiness coming through. So we'll see how it goes. This mess will be at least in a bigger space. The moving process is slow going. I think I strained my back a little bit and I'm a little bit sick. I started to get sick yesterday in my throat. Kind of a bit of a fever, but usually when I get sick, it's not too bad. And I haven't taken any brain gastrodon or CDP choline for 2 days because I ran out, and I'm not going to replace them until closer to the time that I'm supposed to start going downhill again, when it seems my brain cells start to die back and go into past stuff. And tomorrow will be the last day of CDP choline, which I'm also not going to replace because those 3 are kind of on the more expensive side. So to keep track, I made a note in iCal to buy them a month before the 8.5-month mark. And I'm pretty sure that mark is mid-April. So starting in mid-March or something like that, which isn't that far away. And the other thing I've been trying to do lately is relax my face. I'm getting this big scowl line, which not only is kind of icky, but it's sort of indicative of being angry or something. And I remember when I was in the hospital in April 2016, when I was put on those antipsychotics, I was really holding a lot here, and I took a picture of myself and it was really pronounced. And then I realized, well, I'm taking those antipsychotics every night, 50 milligrams of Cotai, so that's probably contributing to that tension. So I didn't really think I was holding tension there, but I can release that tension whenever I put attention in that area, which is probably quite a few times a day, just remembering to relax. And I find when I do that, when I relax, it's a little harder to open my eyes. I feel kind of like my eyes are looking down more and just relaxed. And then to actually lift them is harder than if I'm kind of like focusing and lifting my eyes. And why is this important? Well, how we hold our bodies kind of is mirrored and indicative of our internal state. So I'm wondering if relaxing that will help counteract the effect of the quetiapine that is putting that tension in my face. And also my mental state, which is slowly getting better. But I'm trying to relax it. Otherwise, I might have to get Botox. I don't want to do that. I just want my face to age evenly. I don't care about having that mark, but I don't want to have that mark and nothing else. So I'm trying to relax it. I'm thinking it'll relax more when I eventually am able to not take the antipsychotic. But I'm thinking, given my current situation and being around people all the time and the past, I do need to take it every day. So who knows how long I'll have to continue to take it. It could be a year. Maybe when I'm in California, I won't have to take it because it's a different situation, and then take it when I come back. So maybe the meds I need to take are situational and I can change them day by day, like I'm taking all those supplements for balancing brain chemistry through Peter Smith. So lots of things to consider. Looking forward to creating my space, even though it's not the most ideal space. And I it seems like I'll be there for the next year or so, and I don't know if that's a good idea. That means I'll at least go through one more crisis in that situation. I don't know if I can avoid it. So I might set up a crisis space. I'm going to do that thing where I collect stuff to make it easier to go through the crisis. Maybe be completely prepared for the crisis, like having a bunker or something. And maybe it would be better if I had a different situation to go through the crisis in. But the thing is, when I'm going through a crisis, I can't really work too much, so it would be hard to, that'd be extra stress, like how to pay so much more rent. But hopefully I can take on this challenge and eventually create a life where I'm not a basement dweller. It's slow. I have to remember that it's a slow process. And oddly enough, as I've practiced relaxing my face, I felt a little less grumpy and angry or what have you. I felt more, when I respond to somebody and my face is relaxed, I feel like I respond better. So there is something to this practice of relaxing the face. And then when my face is relaxed, I respond in a relaxed way. If my face is all tensed up, then I don't respond in a relaxed way. Could be an easy, simple, free practice to help in some way. And I gotta run out and do a couple of errands and then do a little bit of moving stuff. Again, it's a very slow process. I lost my voice. So I'm a bit sick and all I can do is whisper. If I try, I can't talk. I can't talk normal volume. And it's funny because a few days before this happened, I was driving and a memory flashed in my mind of when I was younger and I worked at McDonald's and I lost my voice for a week or maybe 2. And I remember having a shift on the cash register part, and I had to get them to switch me to cooking the food because I couldn't talk. I don't even think I could whisper. Maybe I could, I can't remember. But anyway, I haven't had that memory occur to me in a really long time. And then it flashes in my mind, and then a few days later, I have no voice. For the second time in my life. Anyway, still in the process of moving and feeling quite a bit better. 2 days ago, I stopped taking the CDP choline because I ran out. And a few days before that, I stopped the brain gastrodon and alpha GCP. And when I was still on all those 3, I was doing a bit of writing, and then I tried to do some writing yesterday and it wasn't as easy, so maybe those things do have an effect. We'll see. And yesterday I got my next order from Vitacost, and the only thing that I'm adding in is the because that was my dream as a kid, was to be able to sing. Oh, and I participated in Bell Let's Talk Day at a booth for community outreach, and it was interesting because there was a conversation, someone saying, we need psychotherapy, not just the meds. Meds aren't the answer. And he was against meds. I think he might have been somebody that self-medicated instead of taking pharmaceuticals. And then there was somebody else who said that when you have a diagnosis and then you go to the doctor with something unrelated to your mental health condition, like a physical ailment, they just brush it off as part of the mental illness. So that's part of the problem of being diagnosed, that we're not listened to as much. If we're trying to advocate for ourselves, it's part of the illness. If we have an ache or a pain or some kind of other ailment, oh, maybe we need to change meds for psych meds. And so that's something I worry about growing up, aging. Something might be wrong, but they'll see that I have a bipolar diagnosis, so they won't take me seriously in terms of physical health. And that's definitely true. So, yeah. That's all for now. I'm sitting outside my favorite Indian restaurant, and as you can see, my voice, or as you can hear, I should say, my voice is starting to come back. And I started to lose it on Wednesday. It's totally gone on Thursday. Totally gone on Friday. Totally gone on Saturday. Kind of back a little bit Sunday. And then kind of back today. So that's not bad for pretty much having laryngitis. I've been totally mega dosing with vitamin C. And I'm waiting for a couple friends, and this restaurant doesn't reopen for like an hour. So I wonder if they'll want to go somewhere else. But this is my favorite Indian food ever. And it feels like the last couple days my brain has totally come back online. It's so weird to be in a total different world, like completely miserable and awful and can't even think or do anything, to all of a sudden feeling so many possibilities. My brain's going in all different directions today. And yesterday I was sitting in the evening and just sitting there, and I felt this subtle ecstasy. Now, subtle ecstasy, big deal. So what? Well, a couple months ago, or even a week or two ago, I had some suicidal feelings, but a couple months ago I was really feeling like I'm going to jump off a bridge. I want this to be over. And then yesterday, sitting there just feeling the ecstasy of being in a human body, of being in a human experience, and not feeling afraid of death yet wanting to die. It's a weird paradox and contradiction. So anyway, yeah. I don't know what else I wanted to talk about, but so I've still lost my voice. This is my new space, and how much stuff I've collected over 35 years of existence, and all of this stuff. So yesterday I had my favorite Indian food, and my voice is coming back slightly. And I think I was starting to talk about the subtle ecstasy, and I noticed that I started taking the alpha lipoic acid and iCal L-carnitine pretty much the day before, or maybe 2 days before that happened. So my body could be happy with that addition to the supplement regime. And I've been starting to move my stuff into my new space, and I'm having second thoughts about this space because it seems that this house is made out of paper. The sound travels so much. I can hear the conversations being held on the main floor. And so I'm assuming I'll hear the TV sound. And those are the two things that I have trouble with the most. I could almost think of it like people who hear voices. I don't hear voices, but when I'm hearing people talking, it takes up my brain space and it's hard for me to think or move or do stuff. So it's almost like I am hearing voices all day, and it's the voices of other people. And I don't mind that to some extent, but all day long when I'm in my living space is going to be a bit much, I think. But the rent isn't expensive, so I might unpack my stuff and leave it there. I have several options. I could try and find a place, which would be pretty expensive, and on June 15th I'm kind of scheduled to have a bit of a relapse, so it might be hard to work. The relapse could be a lot shorter because I have my own space and I can just focus on getting well and not have sort of like drama happen as a result of having other people around. So that would be a benefit. And the other thing I could do is leave my stuff at this space that I'm moving into, and then for a few months in the summer rent a room somewhere and live closer to summertime type amenities. So I'm not sure what strategy I'll use, but we'll see. And I don't have my own kitchen in this space, so yeah, it's going to be challenging, but at least I'm feeling pretty good. So I do need to devote some of this feeling good energy to creating a good space if possible. And so I'm going away to California for a month on the 22nd until March 20th, and today I purchased my 1 month roaming plan for cell phone. So I use Roam Mobility, and I've kept this SIM card for a while, and it used to be that the SIM card would be active for a year, but now it's only 6 months, and if it's not used then it'll be canceled. But I had a plan active in mid-August still, so it hasn't been 6 months. So I don't have to pay $10 to get another SIM card. So it's $35 for 30 days. And the cool thing is I can call back to Canada unlimited, though I probably won't. But it's just good to have some data and a cell phone when in the States. And I also set the travel dates on my 2 credit cards online. So that's a good feature, just to notify the credit card companies that one is traveling and one doesn't even have to call anymore. That's nice. And I'm also going to buy my supplements, the minimum necessary for a month, which is still quite a bit. And I'm going to order them through VitaCost and ship them there beforehand, so I don't have to worry about packing any or anything like that. And I can order just a 30-day supply, whereas some of the bottles here I have are bigger because they're larger supplies. So that'll be easier to do. And then the last thing I would need to do is get travel insurance. and I'm good to go. And then the other thing is that since my brain's been speeding up, I've been thinking about, I want to do this training and that course and this for work and this on the side and this program and blah, 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 blah. So there's a class around here to learn from Victoria Maxwell and put together a little skit to do with mental health and one's recovery journey. And I don't know what it's all about, but being able to participate in that would be really, really cool. But it starts the Friday before I leave, and then I'm gone for 4 weeks, so unless I cancel my trip, I probably can't participate. But even if I was here, it's quite a long drive, but I would probably do it. But I'm just talking about the tendency of my brain to want to do everything again. But things really do take time. Even today I had plans to do so much and get lots done, and it's harder to get as much done as one thinks one can. So, point being, I pretty much said no to that group. It's a 12-week group on Fridays. So, I need to say no to some things. No to driving super long distances. I would like to be a part of that program. If I wasn't going to California, I probably would go to it. And then the other thing I emailed about was another cohort of the business class was starting, and I emailed to say no to that because I'm going away, which I didn't say, but even if I was here, it's far to drive. It's twice a week. It's early in the morning, and I think I need to really focus on seeing what I'm going to do for space, because I'll be away until pretty much the end of March, and then when I get back, it'll be April, and maybe I want to rent something somewhere else starting May 1st. So I need to put energy into that. And there is a job that I might want to apply for opening up in August, part-time, at a place that I would really want to work. So I'll likely apply for that, and if I get it, then maybe I won't go to California in the winter, and I will have a place. But I do have a lot of stuff, and I'm thinking of setting up this new space as like a dream center prototype, to almost say to myself, well, I built the dream center, a personal dream center, sort of set it up like it would be set up, and then make a video about it or something. And then that way, all that stuff I haven't had access to for the last year, so I don't really need it. It's cool, and the thing is, I realize that wellness tools and health stuff is kind of my recreation. It's fun for me, it's creative. So that's sort of part of my leisure time, is what I've collected. And it would be cool one day if I had like a work-live space where I lived upstairs and it was kind of soundproof, and then downstairs there was like a community space for creativity and wellness and other things. And I can't remember where I wrote it, but I wrote down that the mental health system doesn't really, here it is, it doesn't really address wellness, creativity, spirituality, or meaning. So that center would be about those things. And I've been trying to keep my brain more down to earth, yet it still seems that it can't help but design this sort of wellness, creativity thing. So at the same time, I know that that's not something that could happen for years. So it's lovely to have that in mind. But this year, since I'll have low rent in my new space, I could travel a bit within the province. I could learn how to camp, because I could get a free camping pass. And so it'd be cool to put some energy into learning that, because I do love nature and figuring out how to do that. And that would be kind of inexpensive. And just being outdoors and things will get better once I'm able to be outdoors. The thing that would be cool is to live close to rapid transit, so I could take rapid transit, which I can also access pretty inexpensively, and go and rollerblade. So these are the things I have to keep in mind, and I am hoping to get a bit more back into peer support when I get back from California. Try to stay grounded with it. Try not to go so much into these lofty ideals and these insights and things, and really be present. Learn to be in my body, learn to be in nature, learn to be present with people, and not lost in these lofty ideals that I can't uphold anyway. So why do I keep gravitating towards that? So I really don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that all of a sudden my brain's working a lot better and I have a million things in my calendar to do. That's how I keep track of my tasks, as well as different appointments. So tomorrow I see my psychiatrist. I'm going to talk about some of these possibilities and see what she says, but it's just challenging to live in a space like my new space. I don't even know if I'll be able to talk to myself on video and not have it heard through the floor. It's so paper thin. And then also, if I'm trying to make a video, if people are talking upstairs, it will be on the video. So I don't even have a space to be creative in the way that I have been for the last while. So in terms of my one thing for this year, which I learned about from Steve Pavlina, but I was already doing because I was making videos as my one thing, I am going to focus more on writing. I've been doing a bit more writing lately, and it seems that it's more coherent and structured and sharing experience, but giving like sharing my experience with this balancing brain chemistry thing and doing it along the way. The videos I've always created thinking maybe one day I'll share it, but this is more writing and sharing in real time, which I haven't really done. But I'm actually getting more hits on my silly little blog that I've had for three years or so. Yeah, just 3 years, I think. And it's gone from getting a couple hits a day to like 15 or 16 or 17, which is a big increase. So I'm thinking, well, if I keep writing in this way, then maybe this could turn into something. And so I'm going to create that kind of content, keep talking to myself on video, but not as much, sort of sharing the journey, but not going into the insight thing. My brain's not really tapping into that anyway. It is somewhat, but it's not thinking, oh, I have to write this down and share it on video. I think I've done that enough. I did have a big long list to still talk about, but I don't even really resonate with them so much. So yeah, I think I have a good idea of what to do. And the other day I actually got my first subscriber. I didn't have anybody subscribe. I tried to make a landing page, one that will pop up when people leave or something, but it didn't work. I don't know how to do these things, and hopefully maybe a friend of mine will help me a little bit with that. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. Maybe I'll make another video talking about a bit more later, but I'm trying to get organized in that space. Still at my old space now. And yeah, lots going on. But it's good that my brain feels organized. So again, I have to be in my body. I want to work on writing, work on being out in nature at some point, especially in California, and figuring out where I want to live. It might be a good idea to live somewhere else when I do know the crisis is impending, because I might be able to get through it a lot faster. Plus this time I'll definitely nip it in the butt right away. So yeah, things are good. So I'm doing something else for my trip. I'm on the VitaCost website, and I'm going to ship a 30-day supply of everything I'm taking that is mostly related to what I've learned from Dr. Peter Smith of balancingbrainchemistry.co.uk. So I'm going to ship it to where I'm going so I don't have to carry it across the border, and also because I take quite a bit of stuff, so it would take up a lot of space. The smaller bottles of things would take up less space, but I want to see how minimalist I can pack this time. Since I was in California last year, I have an idea of what I will use and what I won't. I'm even thinking that for 30 days in February and March, I might not even bring my rollerblades. I might see what it's like to travel with the least stuff. When I went down there last year, I brought my small Lumix camera that I bought when I was super manic the very first time on a whim. And I haven't really used very much in the grand scheme of things. And I didn't really use it when I was down there. So I could bring it thinking, well, maybe I'll spend time trying to see if I can take some nice pictures. Or I was thinking I could take some nice footage or something. But it's harder to work with when it's on a external memory card and things like that. So I'm going to do a minimalist pack, but I am still going to continue with Dr. Peter Smith's program for the time that I'm away, because I'm going to keep with it until after my next crisis, which is scheduled for mid-June. So I'm not taking as much or as many of what I'm taking right now. There's a few things that I won't bother to order. One of the things I'm wondering about is if I should bother to order sunflower lecithin, because that's only if I can't sleep. But it's something that could help knock me out to sleep if I have any mini crisis stuff pop up, which I don't imagine I would. I'm not going to bring the branched chain amino acids, which that's something apparently that can prevent mania. If something really did happen, I likely would just up the Seroquel. So I'm ordering my omega-3s, a 30-day supply. That's the most expensive thing. It's $24. And then tryptophan and taurine. And then here at home I have the probiotic powder, but I'm going to get the capsules because I don't really want to deal with powders when I'm down there. I got St. John's wort and the sunflower lecithin. I should probably take that just because I could always bring it back. And glycine powder, that's the only thing that I'm bringing in powder. Tyrosine caps and acetylcysteine, magnesium complex and coenzyme Q10, 30-day supply, and melatonin to fall asleep, some of the ones that melt in your mouth, and zinc picolinate, vitamin C, and B12 lozenges. So some of those things I might not buy, but the B12 for 30 lozenges is $2. For vitamin C, 30 tablets is $2. For zinc, 60 tablets is $3. So getting those smaller amounts makes it a lot cheaper, and then I won't bring anything back. The melatonin is only $4. The CoQ10, that's something I probably wouldn't get, but for 30 it's only $4. And I'm kind of liking this CoQ10 ALA acyl L-carnitine combination, I think. So I do want to keep with that. And then the magnesium is only $5. The NAC is only $5. Tyrosine $5. Glycine powder $5. Sunflower lecithin $6. St. John's wort $7. Acidophilus, or the primidophilus caps, is $8. Taurine $10, tryptophan $13, and then omega-3 $24. And these are American prices, but I do have the coupon code SITE15, which will give me 15% off, which is good. And also, I guess I'm not bringing something that I will continue to take daily is Bacopa. I'm not bringing that, though I might add that. I'm not bringing the Polygala. I have a lot of that, but I'm just not going to order it or bring it. I had to order that one from a special site, No Tropics Depot. And then there's things I'm going to run out of and I'm not going to replace here. In the next few days, I'm going to run out of magnolia bark. SAM-E, that's something to do with the cellular energetics. studies that I looked at, and it's something that Dr. Peter Smith kind of recommended, but he said it could be temporarily used as an antidepressant, so I'm not going to bring that, but it's something I might add back in when I get back. And I'm not going to bring skull cap or some of these more sedating type herbs that I probably will buy again when it's time, closer to crisis time. So closer to crisis time, I'll hopefully have a good place lined up. I'll have maximal supplementation. Going back to California, to Paradise, I probably need minimal supplementation. So yeah, I'm not bringing kelp. I'm not bringing turmeric. I could get some caps of that. I could add that. And I'm not bringing the biopurine or biopiperine or something, whatever it's called. So yeah, that's what I have, and I'm going to place the order and send it along, and then I'll be pretty ready for my trip, and I can try and get other more immediate stuff organized. Another thing I wanted to remind myself of was a tweet that I saw by Dr. Kelly Brogan, and it said that self-care is a form of advocacy, and I never thought about it that way, and it struck me because for many years recently, that's kind of what I did with my time, was took care of myself in infinitely more subtle and kind of out there ways too. And I remember I was living at my own place, and I came to this epiphany where I was thinking, more and more health for what? I was spending a lot of my time trying to get more and more and more healthy. And then I was realizing I was getting more healthy in order to get more healthy, and I was spending all my time getting more healthy. So it felt kind of one-dimensional, and then I put that aside, but that was really a time in my life when I was feeling the best. And then I sort of stopped doing that so much, stopped being so anal, and then life kind of went downhill. That was the time when I stopped taking my meds with the help of my doctor, and things kind of went downhill anyway. But then it was that bad hospitalization, or no, that was just a hospitalization, but I think I was still taking pretty good care of myself, but I especially stopped when I had the bad hospitalization in April 2016, and I wasn't working as much, so I couldn't afford to buy these sort of outlandish health products and wellness tools. And on her tweet, she also said a more beautiful world is possible, and I like that. And so I was thinking of doing some videos for my blog where I share wellness tools by sort of putting them in front of the camera and then not being in the shot, because I've made all these videos and it's more of a journal or sharing the process, but I'm going to try to make some that share wellness tools and maybe share setting up darkness therapy, share setting up my indoor tanning bed, share setting up my bum sprayer, just to see, and then also sharing the process of creating like a little creativity, wellness, meaning making, being in the body center of my own, even though it's not the ideal space. So that could be something cool to do. And I don't know if there's anything else that I really want to talk about right now. Let's see. I'm trying to do these videos without editing now because it takes more time. So yeah, creating this prototype, sharing some resources, putting a lot of my information resources in an accessible way, and then sort of talking about them quickly too. Just to see what I have, assess what I have, put it out and spread it about in the room, and then maybe kind of leave it and even pack up a minimalist type living thing, whether it's just a backpack or a car or whatever, or staying somewhere else locally, and see what happens. Maybe I will go on a magical journey after all. That will eventually hit the shitter, but we'll see. And yeah, another thing, I'm taking this course by Ron Unger on udemy.com, and it's really good. It's called CBT for Psychosis. He has 2 courses on there. They're both really good, and I'm taking one right now and quite enjoying what he's saying. It's helpful. Yeah. I'm here at Value Village, and it's 30% off Women's Clothing Day. See, I'm at Value Village. And I'm going to see if I can get some shorts and maybe some new tights for my trip to California. When I was down there last year, I left a couple pairs of shorts there because they got a little bit worn out. And so I'm just going to see what they have. I'm having my second roll up the rim to win coffee. So hopefully I win something. And yesterday I went to Value Village and I spent $140 on clothes. And I probably didn't need to get that much, but I haven't spent money on clothes in quite a long time. And my jeans that I wear, they seem like they're stretched out from being washed too much because I wear them a lot. And so they're just kind of like baggy and loose even when I take them out of the dryer. So I pretty much got the same jeans that I already wear at Value Village for $7. And so I got 2 pairs and they're pretty much the same, but that way when one's being washed, I still have another one if I need it. And then I got a dark pair of jeans, and I got other stuff. I'll show it later. But I was thinking, oh, did I need to buy that much clothes? But then I was thinking too that at least it's something that doesn't have anything to do with bipolar disorder and mental illness. It's something kind of fun and something that's a necessity anyway. I was hoping to get some more summery clothes for California, but there weren't really shorts or anything. And I got a few short sleeve things, but mostly I could have looked at tank tops. I didn't look at tank tops, but mostly I got like long sleeve things. And considering my goal is to live in a warm climate most of the time, that's not really conducive, but at the same time, it'll be still cold when I come back from California here. And even in California in February, it is kind of cold. It's cold at night. People that are acclimated, I found they wear jeans and a sweater in like May and like a jacket, when people used to cold would probably be in shorts and flip-flops and a tank top. So I learned to wear long sleeve stuff when I was down there. Plus it was cold. You wake up in the morning, it's cold. Late at night or even early evening, once the sun goes down, it gets really cold. So it will be handy. I did get some tights, like workout tights, and I think that's good because I do want to start being more active. So wearing active wear might help to promote that. But I will share what I got later. And like I mentioned, I do want to start making a couple of videos that I'm not in them and just sharing some wellness tools. And so I'll probably make a video about this shopping process because I was able to get quite a lot of things for pretty inexpensive. Some things were more on the pricey side, but I have a certain process that I use to filter things out, and the items were pretty much in flawless condition. So to get a pair of Lululemon 3/4 length shorts that are perfect condition, it was like $14. That's cheap. It's more expensive for a item at a thrift store, but yeah, so I'm going to share that process. I'm going to share setting up darkness therapy, setting up my tanning bed, which is something most people probably don't have, but certain things like that. Adding more content to my blog and focusing more on sharing in real time than this process that I've been doing that'll probably be more a personal journal of sorts. So yeah, I have lots on my checklist to do. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like I can get a lot done. I might start setting up my office at my new place a little bit today. First I have to clean the floor. The floors are really gross. I walked around on the floors for a few hours the other day and my socks were black. Oh yeah, and today is my first day without Sam E, so I'm going to try to pay attention to that. I made a list in my computer to write down the days that I run out of stuff, so then if something starts to go weird, I can look and see, well, what did I run out of lately, or what did I add lately? I wasn't doing that from the beginning with the dates, but I did put them in my iCal, so I could go back and do that and have a summary page. And then tomorrow is the last day I take magnolia bark, and then I will be out of that. And it's not something I'm going to replace right away. So, yeah, taking a few less supplements and seeing what happens. Lately, I've been doing some blogging, and I've been doing some video making where I'm not in the video, so I might be comfortable sharing that video sooner rather than later. Whereas these ones where I've been talking to myself for forever, for over a year and a half, I think, I don't really want to share those at this point. But I was thinking there's a lot of things I could share if I'm not on the video. So I made one about brown rice, switching from white rice to brown rice. And I made one about my Value Village shop and sharing what I got and why and the process, and framing it in a way of inspiring people to look a bit better and thus feel a bit better when they can. And it's not a necessary thing, but it's just something I wanted to share because I was doing that shopping trip anyway. And I'm also starting to make a video series on setting up my space as sort of a dream center, creative, meaning-making, wellness, active space. And I did a video on setting up total darkness therapy like this, setting it up at my new space, and stuff like that. And I edited those videos, and it's interesting how during those videos I say a lot. I think it's because I'm trying to speak in one topic and say everything about it, not forget anything, but I say a lot. Whereas in these videos, the whole time I've been speaking to myself, I think I've said twice, and I didn't edit it out. All the bits I edit out, I was making mistakes speaking the sentences or something, but not saying So it was interesting that I say a lot when doing these videos that are supposed to be kind of practical about a certain topic. And I realized that spending $140 on clothes was good in a way because it's something that has nothing to do with bipolar disorder. And I did a blog post, and I don't know if I talked about it on video, how I calculated all my expenditures last year, the bigger-ish ones that weren't toiletries and food, and 80% of that I spent on something to do with mental health. Whether it was some kind of therapy or some kind of vitamin or something. And 20% was on something non-related to mental health. And most of it was clustered in an area of time when I was starting to probably be kind of hypomanic. It didn't feel hypomanic, but that's just usually when I'm feeling the best, and then I sort of start to schedule fun activities like going to a concert or something, which I don't do very often. And it was also interesting to edit videos because I haven't edited videos in months. I used to edit every single video I made. But since I've been struggling since the crisis, at least October 15th, I haven't been editing them. I haven't been making as many either. So that was like 3.5 months ago. So I have no idea what I've been talking about, but mainly about my struggles and just whatever's happening on the day. And I'm still doing all the Peter Smith balancing brain chemistry stuff. And I need to start wearing these blue blocking glasses because I'm not sleeping as much. I was sleeping 14 hours a night for quite a long time, most often. So that would keep me in the darkness because I have the darkness therapy. I said, it's going to rub off onto these videos. Oh well. I think I've caught the disease. So, yeah, now I'm sleeping less, so would be good to start wearing these more. I'm supposed to wear these plus sleep in darkness for a total of 14 hours. So sleep 8 hours and wear these for 4, which is only 12, but it doesn't have to be 14 if I'm not in a complete crisis. So the other day I did a little exercise that Stephen Kotler sent out through his Flow Genome Project email list that I'm on, and it was about flow and stuff. So he said to write down 25 things that are curiosities that would be something we'd spend our spare time reading about or spend a weekend learning about, and then find out where they intersect. And after that, I can't remember, but most of mine are around being outside nature, being in the body, and technology stuff related to sharing. So hopefully I can spend some time on that. I would like to find some hikes and get comfortable hiking and being in forests, not the same one all the time. I watched a 40-minute documentary on wild edibles. It would be cool to know something about that and forage for food. So that's an example where something overlaps. Going for a hike and foraging for wild edibles at the same time is being outside, getting exercise, being in the body, being in nature, being in the forest. So a bunch of them overlap that way. I also want to learn how to go camping. I say these things and then oftentimes I end up sitting down at a computer machinating. So I'm hoping not to do that this year. I'm starting to set up my space and I'm going to devote most of it to body-oriented stuff and then have a room that's the resource papers room, and hopefully set up a bunch of binders with those clear pages and put the resources in, pretending like someone might be coming in to explore them, and then sharing that process in those videos that I will share because I won't be in them. So if I ever do share this part and it seems like, oh, all of a sudden I'm not sharing as much, well, it's probably on a different playlist of videos sharing the process that I'm not in the video, so I was more comfortable sharing it. And that's what I'm doing with the blog, sharing this process of doing the Peter Smith thing along the way, and then other things that are a bit more practical, less ranty. So hoping to build that skill of being a little bit more practical and less ranty and more wellness and less being mad at the mental health system. So I think I'm kind of over that, which is good. Took a while. I want to be a sort of wellness enthusiast and just keep going. So I'm not sure if this is the best time to do this because I'm feeling a little bit of the hypomanic zzz, and I don't know if I need any help. But I want to try this because I haven't had this little treat for a long time. Could be a couple years. And so I got Giddy Yo-Yo chocolate, or as this one says, Giddy Yo. Yes, 100% raw. Maybe a little crazy, but that's what I am. And I have some dates. So this little snack, all I do is pull apart a date, make sure there's none of that gross stuff inside that sometimes happens. I found these Costco organic dates. Haven't had a single gross one in the last bin I consumed. And they were all edible except for maybe one that was dried out. And now I need to rinse off my fingers. Now I open up the Giddy Yo. It says not a candy bar. This is what it looks like inside. Very pretty packaging with all their different flavors on there. They have lots. And this is open right here. And I'm just going to break off one square. And I take the square, put half on the date like that, half on the date like this. So have nature's candy in dates mixed with 100% raw, living, vegan chocolate with all the good benefits. And my mouth is already watering, and we'll see how I feel after this. So 100% raw chocolate, obviously quite strong and bitter, but this date sandwich, this date raw chocolate sandwich makes it very edible. I don't notice the bitterness at all. So this is a great way to get your 100% raw chocolate without making the face like, which could be interpreted in so many different ways. Really, 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 really good. Highly recommended. So last night I had a little bit of that scary heart stuff going on when I was falling asleep, or trying to. I was falling asleep, I couldn't sleep, I woke up, I ended up going pee, but I could feel my heart pounding, but I wasn't scared. And I think the antipsychotics were doing their job and blocking the terrifiedness. And I'm not really sure what's caused it, but there's a few factors that I sort of already know about. One, I've been really busy doing a lot during the days, which indicates sort of a hypomania-ish state, which could mean I need to, at some point, hit a bit of a wall and come back energetic-wise. And then my microbiome is not happy. It doesn't look happy. It doesn't smell happy. You can deduce what that means. But it's been going on for the last 2 days, and so I did a simple muscle test, and I haven't been able to do muscle testing for a while because everything I ask tests strong. So no matter what, everything tests strong, so I don't know if it's telling me good information or not. But it actually worked, meaning that I did a strength test, so thinking of my name or something, and I'm just pushing on my wrist to test the strength of this reflex or muscle. And that's strong. But then when I was thinking of my first possible culprit, was I used quite a bit of sriracha the last couple days. It's really tasty, but it sometimes can aggravate the microbiome. So I said, I think of sriracha, or sort of hold that in mind. And it's not as strong, and I literally cannot hold it as strong. It's more bouncy. Sriracha, my name, sriracha. So just a little bit of a difference. So it could be that. So I will scale back on the sriracha. Another thing is that I haven't been using melatonin to sleep for a few days because I've been really tired. And if I'm really tired, I try to fall asleep without it. If I don't feel super tired, but I know I need to go to sleep because I have to get up in the morning or something, then I'll take it. And every now and then I even take 2, and they're these 3 milligram ones that dissolve in my mouth. Because I read that if you keep taking it, the body will stop making it. That's a good little rhyme. And so I don't take it all the time, so that could lead to having a harder time falling asleep. And this could be seen as scary, having this scary heart rhythm going a week or so before I leave for California. Another thing is, 2 nights ago I spent time singing at the top of my lungs in the other room because nobody's here. Usually I sing in my car, but singing in a bigger room, it's sort of playful, happy, celebrating life and being alive, and singing, which is an art as opposed to a functional science and necessity of daily necessities. I don't even know if I keep saying that necessity word. I don't know if I said it twice or 3 times now. And that's the other thing. So I'll go into the other thing next, but going further into my possible self, whenever I tap into that or touch into that, which is usually a slow progression over 5 months. This is earlier in the 5 months of health cycle, but I'm sort of getting to that higher peak faster. So if I peak, sometimes I hit a wall, and then this heart thing comes in to sort of bring me back, because the heart is fear. So going into the possible self is ecstasy, peak experience, kind of like being a bit high but not taking anything to get high. And then there's a retraction back to the consensus resonance around. So me singing might be my dream as a child state, my original blueprint, and then I go back to sort of being in alignment with my blueprint that's more congruent with consensus and the situation I'm in and everything. So it was like a little mini, not a crisis, but just a mini return. And then the other thing is, when I'm in these states of really flowing and not knowing and moving without self and planning, sometimes I don't even know. 2 nights ago, I didn't even know if I took my medication. So I took tryptophan, which I take 2 at night, and I knew I took that. And then I went to take my meds or not, and I was like, did I take them? And I take 2 quetiapine, and I didn't know. So I didn't want to take 2 more, because I might have taken them, and I was really trying to think, did I take them? Because it was just the second before. It wasn't like, did I take them an hour ago? It was like, did I take them 10 seconds ago? I don't even know. I might have. So I only took 1, and then I left the other 1 on the table. So this palpitation happening, some of this arising, could be that maybe I didn't take the meds, so I only took 1 quetiapine, which would have less of an effect for the 24 hours following than taking 2. If I was to reduce the dose, I would probably go down in quarter amounts of the 50 milligrams, or even 1/8, not a whole half of the whole dose. So could have been that too. So I still am busy and I have things to do today, and go, but perhaps I should try to next week start doing that brain relaxing meditation again. I'm hoping to be sleeping in my new space by tomorrow night. I have to move this darkness blind, and I have to do it in a different way than I thought. So I have to set up the darkness therapy tomorrow and set up my swirl water, which is one of my favorite wellness tools, on my shower and a tap, and set up my water pick because I love that thing. Yesterday my bidet got set up, my desk, and lots of things got set up, so it's looking pretty good. And there's so much stuff in boxes, like papers and little knick-knacky things to sit out on the table, as well as wellness tools. So I'm going to keep those in boxes, put out some stuff, but not go through it. I don't have time before I leave. And put stuff away enough so then when I move this last bit, which is the stuff I use really on a daily basis for sure, like my vitamins, my blue light, and then I also have to go through all the stuff that I put aside that I might want to pack for California. And I'm going to try and do minimalist. I may or may not bring my rollerblades, which takes up a lot of space. I'm thinking I should put aside a box in the very, very unlikely possibility that I stay longer. I'm not planning to. But if something comes up and there's no reason for me to leave for some reason, I can't imagine why, then I could get somebody to send me that box. And so I'm going to bring a little bit of extra medication because that's probably the only thing I need. I think if I stayed down there indefinitely and never returned for some reason, which I can't imagine, I could taper off the quetiapine and stay off of it. I think. I really do, because it's a different resonance, a different area. Here, there's a lot of associations with past. Whereas there, I could bobble around in synchronicity and spontaneity and ecstasy indefinitely, probably. Whereas here, it's mental health and working in mental health, and so I would be coming back to that and the past associations. So I might again be walking into another trap, as I call it, but I don't think so. A so-called relapse, is going to happen either way. So I talked about what this heart stuff was about, and it was kind of freaky. Not the greatest sign, but I can see quite a few factors going into a real hypomania possible state. Plus, not last night, but the night before, I only slept 8 hours and I didn't use my amber glasses at all. Whereas I've been sleeping like 10 hours at least, a lot. So I'm starting to sleep less, which means I have to remember to use the amber glasses more, which is something that Peter Smith would say. So I have to keep in mind these ways to curb the mania. It doesn't feel like mania, really, but I still need to remember to practice those ways to bring it back. So the amber glasses tonight. There's also upping glycine, upping zinc to sleep at night. There is taking sunflower lecithin. I think taking a second dose of glycine, which I might have said, up to 18 grams. So after I get set up in the next couple days, I'm going to review the balancing brain chemistry stuff today. It's a big, long document that I've read a couple times, but I'm going to review it again. Also, since this happened, I might consider ordering those other couple of supplements to curb mania in California. And I sent a package of vitamins from Vitacost directly there because it was a sale day, so I already did that. But I might send another one because I forgot to order lithium orotate, and I don't really want to take that across the border. Two, since I had a little bit of heart stuff, I know I sent the sunflower lecithin, I think, but I don't have the branched chain amino acids, which I may or may not need. So there could be a few things that I might want to order. Another thing is that I might want to order or bring a darkness shade. I don't know what my room's going to look like if it's a small window that I can block out the light. It's really dark there anyway, but there will be some light, probably from lit paths and things like that. I don't know. So I might bring a darkness shade if I have extra, or just figure out how to make it dark when I get there. And so also, seeing that I had a bit of this, it might be good to set up Amazon Prime now. I was thinking of delaying it because why have Amazon Prime when I can go get things myself or order it on Amazon and wait for it. So it might be good to set up Amazon Prime, and it might be good to consider taking a antipsychotic during the day or taking 3 at night. One thing I worry about, since I've never taken any antipsychotics daily, is that I feel like it blocks the stuff more than the lithium, which I've been on traditionally. So then it's almost like the next time it does blow over or erupt, because the stuff isn't suppressing it anymore, it could be worse in a way. I don't know. It's kind of scary. So it could just be that I went too far into possibility because I had the opportunity to be alone and sing to myself and have fun, but I'm not sure. And there could be other things I want to talk about. I'm not really remembering, but the other thing is I have this thing I talk to myself on video, and I'm on the video. And a lot of them I don't want to share now because of how I failed historically on the Hardy Nutritionals, and now I'm doing the Peter Smith thing, and that could fail too. So I could make videos where I'm in them, but not talking about these biochemical type aspects. So that way, if I do want to share one day, I can start with sharing those, which doesn't talk about my journey with all these playing around with my biochemistry thing, and talk about the other stuff. So what I'm saying is, if there's something I want to talk about on video with me in it, but it's not related to all that, then I could do that separately. And then also have the videos where I'm not in it and I'm sharing stuff that I could share at any point, probably starting when I get back from California. So that's where I'm at now, and these are going to be some busy days. I need to go easy on the sriracha. I might try and take some diatomaceous earth. I used to take that. It's full of silica. I don't know why, it just sort of popped in my head because it can help to get rid of any bad bugs in the guts, if there are any. And I don't know if it'll get rid of the good bugs too, but we'll see. So today, I gotta get going, gotta get busy, and I gotta remember to relax and take it easy. And read over that stuff again to jog my mind about how to bring myself back if I do go too far into hypomania-ish. Even though it doesn't feel like it, the heart thing is a sign. Today I'm going to remove this blackout blind and put it in my new space and set up the total darkness therapy because I'm planning on sleeping there tonight. So I have to have that set up. And then I still have everything that I really use on a daily basis, like toiletries and a few remaining clothing items and vitamins. I have my printer. I still have quite a bit of stuff here, so I'm going to try and move it all today. And the one trouble of putting my vitamins that I'm taking through Peter Smith's Balancing Brain Chemistry program into things like this is that sometimes during a day one might have to vary what one takes. Remove a couple of things, not take things that stimulate the happy side or mania, and up the things that bring a mania down, or vice versa. So if I do this and I don't know what they are, it's hard to do. But luckily, I know what they are, and the ones that I was taking that were similar to other ones in terms of shape and size and color, I'm not taking those. So I could pick out the Polygala. I'm not taking that today. I'm taking a break from the tyrosine today, and also not taking rhodiola. And that's about it. And then I have all the herbal ones in this side, so I take both sides in the morning. And then these are the ones I take at night, but then the ones I take on an empty stomach aren't in any of these cases. So it could get confusing, or I could just leave it and skip that day and take them from the jars when I'm varying my doses. But if I start to learn how to vary it day by day, then I might not want to put them in packs like that. Or I could have one of those packs where there's 4 rows on each day, and then have the ones I take for sure in 3 of them in the morning, and then have the ones that might be variable in a separate one. So there's other ways to organize it, which I might try to do once I get back from California. And then there's one that should stay in the fridge, blah, blah, blah. So it's quite complicated. And I read over the document again last night, and I sort of copied and pasted the parts that are relevant to me now, and got a totally different flavor of things and things that I forgot that I could be doing. So I think it's good to review that quite often. I'm going to look over it again today and finish reading the part that I didn't read. So lots to do. And last night I took 4 sunflower lecithin. I took an extra zinc. I took the tryptophan like usual. I took 2 Seroquel. I took a melatonin when I didn't before the last few nights, so I slept well, and I didn't feel manic or anything, but I did go into far reaches in terms of what I wrote. I could share a little bit of what I wrote, which is sort of indicating going into that state in consciousness in order to harvest that information and write that way. So I have to be careful, because that's sort of the equivalent of hitting a wall. I'll go into that later.